Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing the second book in the Julie Hyzy series. It's called Hail to the Chef, and this is a cozy mystery series. And if you love cozy mysteries, I do a lot of videos on them, so subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on them. The first book in this series was such a good read. I loved the characters, I thought the mystery was pretty good as well, and I was looking forward to this book. And after this book, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the series so much. Let's discuss the book now. Olivia is now the executive chef in the White House kitchen. She got the job in the first book. So if you haven't read the first book, jump back now, watch my video, and get that book and read it straight away. It's a really good read. So we have Ollie, who's the executive chef. That leaves a gap for another chef in the kitchen. So they haven't got a permanent member yet to fill that spot. So they're hiring temps, and the main temp they get is Agda, and she's from Sweden originally, and she makes for a really good quirky character because she doesn't understand or speak English that well, and so there's a lot of humour and a lot of lightheartedness and fun around her trying to understand things in the kitchen and get things right. But she's a great worker in the book, and they love her. All the kitchen staff really warm to her. I really enjoyed Agda as a character, and we'll discuss more about that as we discuss characters. But back to the plot. Early on in this novel, there's a bomb scare. Now, I found it a bit strange to have a bomb scare in the White House, but let's just push that aside for a second because it's a cozy mystery. The whole fun is in the characters mainly and how the characters interact. Let's just go ahead with the plot and enjoy it. Ollie, the president's wife, and the president's wife's nephew are all shunted off into the bunker. During this time in the bunker, Ollie learns that the president's wife is quarter owner in a business, and she's being pressured by the other people to sell it. She also learns that the president's wife's nephew has a crush on her, so that's a bit of a challenge for her because she's got a boyfriend, Tom. Even though Tom's not around much in this novel, they're still together. And that business sale is the key factor in this plot because it drives the rest of the story. And the other partners, they're all pretty strange. One of them is a senator who is meant to be friendly with the president and his wife, but he comes across as very, very aggressive to them, demanding all the time that they sell this business. Another partner in the business is a bit of a dodgy businessman. He's got some rumours or some sinister things going around him. And we learn that he could be a suspect in a murder as well as we go along in this book. So the president's wife isn't in great company in this business venture she has with these three other people. What else we have in this plot is a Secret Service agent is brought in especially to teach all the staff from the White House about security and safety, and he's teaching them things like how to spot a suspicious item or package, what to do if you find one, all that sort of stuff. Through this novel, though, Ollie doesn't come across a suspicious package in real life for her, and she finds that in a storage room, and because of that, the Secret Service agent thinks she's quite special, that she spots things other people don't, and that's another key driver in this character and in most characters in cozy mysteries, where the main character can spot things others don't, and they use that skill to solve the mysteries. The culinary aspect of this book, other than trying to find a permanent staff member in the kitchen, is that all the chefs are gearing up for a special event in the White House, which is opening the doors and inviting all these people in for an open day. Part of this is catering it with just food for families and their kids, all that sort of thing. Another aspect is that Marcel is creating a huge gingerbread house. It's the biggest one he's ever done. And there's a really fun scene where he can't get it in the lift. So they're wondering how they're going to get it upstairs. And they rope in all the electricians in the White House to help. And there's about 4 or 5 guys struggling to carry this gingerbread house up the stairs. It's a very tense scene, probably one of the tense scenes in the novel. When the gingerbread house is finally upstairs, Marcel is so relieved. I was relieved as well as a reader. But then it keeps getting shifted on him. And every time it's shifted, we just see him freak out. And it's a really fun time in the novel to see his reactions whenever this house gets shifted, because he's worried that the gingerbread house will just break and fall apart. And that'd be a disaster considering it's a centerpiece of this event for this open house. Another key thing in this plot that does happen is that the head electrician in the White House dies in an accident. Ollie is a bit suspicious about what caused this accident, and she's trying to find out, but none of the other electricians in the White House will listen to her. So there's a lot in this plot about her trying to pressure them to investigate more. And that keeps going and going and going, but it's really important and key to this novel, so pay attention to that. So of course we have the 4 main characters in the kitchen still. The good thing is that Henry does appear as well. So he was the executive chef in book 1 who retired. He appears for a very brief time, and I found that a really good scene with him and Ollie. But the other main characters in the kitchen are still there. However, in this novel, we don't see them as much as we did in book 1. Ollie, of course, we see more than the others because she's the main character for the whole series. And now she's moved to the executive chef job. We see a different side to her. She's more decisive. She's not afraid to talk back to other people in the White House who are in higher positions as well. And that's a really good thing as growth for her. The other ones we don't see as much. Agda is more of a character in this than the other chefs in the kitchen in this novel. And I think it's because she's new and we want to get to know her and her quirkiness. And she's a great quirky character, Curly. So Curly is the electrician who takes the place of the head electrician after he dies in an accident. And Curly I really like. He's a bit cantankerous, and Ollie calls him Surly Curly, which I found quite fun as well. I had a bit of a laugh about that. And he is quite surly. He's very argumentative, and he doesn't like Ollie butting her nose in at all into the electrician's business. Probably for a good reason. He just thinks that she's a busybody, that she doesn't know anything about electrics. But I just like the interactions between Surly Curly and Ollie. I thought they were quite fun in this book. Now, I did mention Agda. Agda is the quirky Swedish chef that's coming in as a temporary chef. I really hope that she stays as a permanent chef because her character was such fun. Her quirkiness is just addictive, really. And I really enjoyed the way the author explored having a chef in a busy kitchen with just a few staff who couldn't communicate very well in English and how that played about. I thought it was a really creative thing to do, and it really succeeded in this book, I think. And I really hope that Agda stays on for longer in this series. Gavin is the Secret Service agent who's brought in to teach all the staff about security and safety. He lets Ollie call him Gav, so he's referred to as Gav quite a lot in this novel. And he's a really good character because it had me guessing about him all through the book. I didn't know if he was trustworthy. I didn't know what his motives were. Was he the person who was playing the threat in this novel? And I thought that was such a good way to represent this character in the novel, and the author did such a good job. I really hope Gavin, or Gav, returns in future novels because he ended up being a really fun character as well, and I just loved the way he interacted with Ollie in this book. Overall, I thought this was such a good second book in the series. The first book I really enjoyed, but this book I enjoyed even more. And I can't really pinpoint why I enjoyed this book more than the second. It had the same tense feeling. The characters were really good still, really strong. I'm not sure if it's just because Ollie's gone to the higher position in the kitchen, so she has more decisiveness and she argues back with people more. I'm not sure what made me like this book more than the first, but I do rate this 4 out of 5, and I'm really, really hopeful that every other book in this series will be just as good or better. I really do hope so, and I do plan to review every book in the series, so subscribe if you don't want to miss those. I really love this series. It's a great cozy mystery series. It's a great culinary cozy mystery series, and it makes me want to explore culinary cozy mystery series even more. So I may do more in the future on that theme.